The AI tools, Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT, Gemini, all of them are just starving for question and answer based information. You don't have a robust set of frequently asked questions, but you should.
The AEO answer engine optimization, because I don't know if people are paying attention to the fact that it is visible higher than the SEM.
It's no longer enough to write one blog post and think that you've answered the mail, so to speak, in getting you to rank for that keyword phrase.
What's going on, world? This your girl, Marky Lemons-Ryhal. And as you know, we are all things social selling. But now we're social selling with artificial intelligence. And there's a lot of new buzzwords on the street. Moving forward, you must commit to becoming an active, lifelong learner. There has to be a consistency, a cadence to this, because today I have none other than Ken Tucker here with me, and he is from Changescape Web. And I think that Ken would agree with me. We're seeing a change every single day. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, the pace of change is amazing.
And here's the thing, it's not a change to one platform. It's a change to every platform. It's like a war of the platform and the tool right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, just when you think one tool's kind of pulled ahead and become the real true leader, and then all of a sudden there are 3 or 4 other tools that are out there that are rivaling it and even have better features and they're easier to use. So it's crazy.
Actually, even though I have never publicly talked about this, it is very hard right now to commit to a annual subscription. They might have to start discounting those even more due to the fact that if that platform does not keep up, you will find that your subscription could feel antiquated to you in as little as 60 to 90 days.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually.
Yeah. I'm thinking we might be the first people that are talking about that. But today, I wanted to dive in because when I think about social media, when I think about artificial intelligence, for me, it's all about being in the palm of the hand of the consumer. And we know for many years, we were talking SEM and SEO, search engine marketing and search engine optimization. But I want you to tell the world, what is this new acronym on the streets, AEO?
Yeah, so it stands for Answer Engine Optimization. And the reason it's becoming such a featured topic is because it's really changing the way search engines, including the AI tools, Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT, Gemini, all of them are just starving for question and answer based information. The large language models learn really well from that structure. And so it's super important for you to, and here's the challenge for a lot of businesses and realtors as well is you don't have a robust set of frequently asked questions, but you should, because that's really absolutely essential. And it's what's driving a large part of AEO. The other thing that's going on is traditionally with SEO, with search engine optimization, we've talked about inbound links from other websites to your website as one of the major factors of helping you lift up your website for rankings. That's because the search engines have looked at authoritative websites, and if they're giving you love back to your website, that's actually served as a testimonial. What's happening now is you don't have to have a link. You just need to have mentions. Links are not going to go away. You still need to have, plenty of good, solid inbound links, but you want to make sure that your content is published everywhere and that they call it the web for a reason, right? And it's really funny because what's going on with this concept of AEO is really SEO best practices for the last, 15 years. It's creating content, it's putting it in all of the right places where your ideal clients are spending time online. And, what we have the ability to do now with AI tools is we can create a lot of content and repurpose it across any type of format that people are going to be using. Podcasts for audio, video, short form video, long form video, social media posts, image based posts typically. Your carousels work really well. Blog posts, repurposing those into press releases and building email newsletters from all of that. All of these fantastic tools are out there, and AEO is really you've got to get your content everywhere online, and but it needs to be consistent and it needs to be related to your brand.
So, Ken, I'm going to tell you right now, you have made my day already. Now, I was looking at some old content of mine, and it was a Halloween. This is why it came up in my feed, because it was a Halloween back in 2013. Okay. And I was teaching for the Main Street Organization of Realtors, and the acronym that I had on the board was COPE: Create Once, Post Everywhere. Okay. So now I'm going back to the answer engine optimization, right?
Right.
When we created Social Selling Made Simple back in January of 2019, the reason that I hired Matt Johnson from Pursuing Results at the time was because I'd had the opportunity to be on someone else's podcast. And I wanted someone who would record in video to build out YouTube, who would extract the audio for the podcast, who would take the audio to text transcription for my email marketing, but also for the blog post, who would then take and caption photo quotes from those aha moments. And so I'm happy to say that just through Social Selling Made Simple, we've done that almost 250 different times in different ways. And recently, I started taking the transcript from all of my recordings that are still relevant and repurposing them into a LinkedIn newsletter, where we're also using Notebook LM and tools like napkin.ai for the images. And so I'm actually elated. I didn't realize that for so long I was doing the right thing for now, since answer engine optimization is not something that we were really talking about before 2023-ish, or at least I never heard it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So the content is what really drives it, but there are some other fundamental things that you have to do.
What is
Make
that?
sure you have schema markup on your website. Schema markup is basically the code structure that Google and the other search engines want to see, that helps it understand what that piece of content is. So they could be location-based pages. So if you serve a location, a neighborhood or a suburb, and you have a page on your website, you want to use the location schema. If you've got reviews on your website, you want to use the review schema. And so there are great tools that are out there. I mean, if you're using WordPress, you can take advantage of a tool like Yoast, for example, to help you, create that schema. There's also, specific schema tools that we use to do that as well. The other key thing that's happening is Google is getting considerably less traffic. So, it's diversifying across different platforms now. And so that's why you have to publish everywhere, like you said. And so one of the key things that people, probably are going to laugh at and probably won't believe, but guess what? Your Bing Places is really important all of a sudden. Now, you've got your Google business profile, but Bing Places is important, and your Yelp profile is absolutely important. Yelp and Bing are providing the local data about a local business to the AI tools, the large language models. And so if you want your business to show up there, you've got to. Now, the great thing is if you sign up for Bing Places and you've already got a Google business profile, you can import your Google profile into Bing Places, so you don't have to really recreate a lot. You just have to import it. But those are two places that I think a lot of people probably would laugh off, but they're re-energized and become even more important than they have been for a while.
You know what? Oh, let me say this. So I'm also the podcast host of Drive with NAR, the official podcast of the National Association of Realtors.
Okay.
My relationships led to, well, one, I was already a successful podcaster, but my relationships went back 20 years. So let me take you back 20 years. Graham, who was the former editor of Realtor Magazine that oversaw the podcast, when he first started working at NAR, he interviewed me
Okay.
because I was the Baroness of Hyde Park here in the city of Chicago. So I had built a lot of visibility. I was actually in competition. It was another social platform at that time that had location-based check-in, and it was Yelp. And there's a
Okay.
guy by the name of Tori Muhammad just inboxed me the other day. Oh, and then Brian Thompson from Red Level Entertainment. We were doing all these check-ins, right? And we were trying to get on the leaderboard through gamification,
Right.
through not only Yelp, but also Foursquare.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Foursquare.
Mhm.
And this is all like you have just run me over. I'm just going to tell you right now, because these are practices that we were doing uh, more than 10 years ago. I want to even take it back 15 years ago in order, now I see what you're getting at. I see what you're getting at, Ken, to build that local SEO,
That's
right?
right.
Well, now is local. Oh, can you have local answer engine optimization? Is that the idea?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anybody really talk about local answer engine optimization. I think AEO is just now it's kind of a companion to SEO. So if you're focusing on a local market, if you're a brick and mortar business where people come to your place of business, or if you serve, an area, different neighborhoods, different suburbs and communities and things like that, you want to focus on local search engine optimization, but you have to keep in mind these extra things that you have to do to check off the AEO requirements that are really starting to move the needle in a big way.
So this is what I'm thinking. I have essentially abandoned my Yelp account since being the Baroness of Hyde Park.
Okay.
However, I do a lot of Google check-ins. And with those, I'm always posting videos and photos. So if I'm hearing you correct, I could essentially download that content from all of those location-based check-ins and start being more consistent on Yelp.
Well, I not necessarily. I mean, what I said was that you can import your Google Business Profile page into your Bing Places.
And to my Bing Places, but could I go back and download my old Google check-in to then also do Yelp check-ins?
Probably not. I mean, Yelp is, and full disclosure, I'm a Yelp advertising partner. So
Oh, well, yeah, then give it to me because you're going to
yeah,
tell me the right way to do it.
yeah. So Yelp is very much a user generated driven platform, right?
Okay.
So it wants, and it places a premium on authenticity.
Um,
And so I wouldn't go back to pull anything old unless it's still very relevant. You can take some things and maybe repurpose those and repost those as you're moving forward new with Yelp. But I wouldn't really look at it in terms of taking a lot of old historical content and then trying to get that added back to your Yelp. I would just start using your Yelp profile. But the most important thing is just make sure that you fill out your Yelp profile as thoroughly as you can. Make sure you've got the right business categories. Make sure your hours are correct. Make sure if your hours vary over the holidays, make sure you're adjusting those hours, those kinds of things, because that's really what the LLMs want to see. And every time you make an update, they're going to come and crawl that. The LLMs, the large language models, ChatGPT, Perplexity, et cetera, they're hitting Yelp profiles at least once a day. And so, if you do add new content or you make changes, it will be picked up pretty quickly by them. So, and What's amazing about Yelp is, Yelp is great at writing the top lists. These things we call listicles. And so when you do if you do a Google search, um, for top realtor in Hyde Park, for example, Yelp top 10 list is probably going to show up in the top 1 to 3 positions in the organic search results. And so even though you may not be able to get your website to rank in the top 3, because it's going to be hard to compete with the Yelps and the Angies and places like that. If you're in the Yelp top list, you're still getting the benefit of visibility, but it's only going to work if you've optimized your Yelp profile. But now, beyond Google search, if people are doing searches in ChatGPT or Perplexity for a local business, the way you make sure you show up there, have schema markup on your website, have those frequently asked questions and answers, and make sure that your Yelp and Bing Places profiles are optimized.
So let's kind of go back a little bit to the AEO answer engine optimization, because I don't know if people are paying attention to the fact that it is visible higher than the SEM. So generally, I'm seeing my AEO response. Then you would see your search engine marketing, which means they paid for ad placement. And
Right.
then you have your SEO, your search engine optimization.
Yeah.
As a licensed real estate professional, besides coming in and updating our Yelp profile and being consistent, let me say this. I feel kind of bad that I abandoned Yelp because it was successful. And I know for a fact that that was my first article ever for Realtor Magazine. So just the visibility that came from it, but I took a step back. So we will re-implement that. What can real estate professionals do now to come up just in that AEO space, knowing that it's at the very top?
Yeah. So I think what you're talking about is the AI overview.
Yes.
For like Google. Yeah. So that again, having a good set of frequently asked questions is and be thorough. I mean, if you write 5 to 10 frequently asked questions and provide answers for every type of home loan that you work with, if first time or type of buyer, first time home buyers, veterans. If you deal in rural markets and you deal with the rural housing loans, make sure you have a good set of frequently asked questions about that. Make sure that you talk about to the extent that you can. I mean, I know obviously there are restrictions in terms of what you can talk about in regard to neighborhoods and things like that. But talk about local stuff as well. Have frequently asked questions about that. Provide resources. Now that may get you up there. It's going to be tough because some of the big brokerages are probably also making that same investment, and they've already got more SEO leverage. So it may be difficult for an individual realtor to break into that category. But that's not necessarily the worst thing if you're putting your content everywhere that people are going online. What's happening is these AI overviews that what we're calling that zero-click search.
Say it again. Zero-click search.
Zero-click search. So what that means is you don't have to click on anything to get your answer because the AI is already giving you the answer. So what's happening is, and this is happening less for small businesses, local oriented businesses rather than national publishers. National publishers are losing massive amounts of traffic because they're doing the hard work. They're providing the answers. They may be showing up in the AI overviews, but people aren't clicking to go through their website. They're reading the answer right on the Google search results page. So they're not getting the benefit of the traffic from that click. And so that's why in order to kind of future-proof your business, if you're a publisher today at like a regional or a national level, you've got to have your content everywhere. You got to be on Reddit. You got to be on all of the different socials. You need to just, get your content pushed out to as many places as possible. Obviously within reason, focus on where your ideal clients are most likely to be spending time. But even then, having your content on other platforms and other places is still sending these brand mentions, these brand signals that are helping you rank for search. So it's a real challenge for businesses that are, like, for example, a really easy thing for people to get their brains wrapped around with as an example for the AI overviews is, how old is Brad Pitt? You type that into your search engine or you speak it into your phone, you're going to get the answer and it's going to tell you, and it's okay, yeah, he's whatever he is, 56, 62. I have no idea how old he is, but you got your answer. You don't need to click through to go to any other website. That's what we're calling zero-click search. And the businesses that are, that are providing that information, they're not getting very many clicks from Google. And so you have to look for other sources of traffic and not rely on Google as much as you used to in the past.
So I need you to educate me on this because I think what I was thinking is incorrect based on a statement that you made. So when I do a search on my phone, the very top is going to be AI overview.
Right.
Where is the answer engine optimization? So if we were doing a search, tell me the hierarchy, because I think now I have it incorrect.
Yeah. So you can also have what's called a knowledge panel show up where it'll feature a business and it'll provide the information about their business. So if you can, that's all. Your best opportunity to get in those positions is to really focus on the keyword phrases that people are typing in and making sure that you have the answers to those. And so again, it gets back to this idea we've talked about in SEO for a very long time called the long tail keywords. What's happening now is the long tail keywords are there's questions. People are asking questions because they're speaking into their phone, or if they're using ChatGPT, even on a desktop, a lot of people aren't typing anymore. They're hitting, they're speaking in and letting, the AI dictate it, and then they submit their prompt that way. So that's why answers to questions is super important. And, if you think about it, and if you do keyword research to align with the common question type keyword phrases that people are typing in, then that may be where you want to spend some of your time in optimization.
I had just wrote down long tail search terms because of the previous answer. And I'm always doing audio input because we all talk more and provide more details than if we text, type, or write. But I wasn't doing it thinking about the response I was getting. Well, yes, I was. I was doing it to give better prompts, right? So it's a correlation that I didn't realize that I'm able to see now. So you're clarifying a lot of my behavior and why some of it is still necessary. But I want to ask you this question. Yeah. So historically, if I wanted to identify what a person was talking about, which might not be as relevant because there are fewer Google searches, but I was going over to google.com/trends and would type in real estate to see how people are currently searching in order to develop the content. Would we still do the same thing when it comes to answering questions, essentially answering those questions, or will we use Reddit? What is like the number one go-to resource to identify what we should be answering?
So Google Trends is great. Using keyword research tools is great. There are a lot of great AI-driven keyword tools where you plug in a seed keyword and it'll go generate. It'll use AI to generate all of the potential similar or related keywords. And when you're building out the content on your website, you want to think about content silos where you have a top level page, for simplicity's sake, maybe it's first time home buyer, Chicago, Illinois. is maybe that top level page that you're dealing with, or even a suburb of Chicago would probably be better. But then there are a whole series of supporting pages with either semantically similar or related keyword phrases that need to prop up that top level page. So it's no longer enough to write one blog post and think that you've answered the mail, so to speak, in getting you to rank for that keyword phrase. You now have to have what we call content clusters or content silos that are all designed and interlinked to prop up those top level pages. So keyword research is very important. The other thing I would do is, and I would do this with a paid Chat GPT account. It's $20 a month, but make sure it's a paid account. But do deep research in Chat GPT and ask it for your market research. Ask it for demographics and and customer behavior and the latest trends. It will also pull in a lot of really good information. You can give it sample markets. So if you're like, pull it, like if you're in Chicago, what's another similar city market? You could put that into your deep research and say, look at Denver and see what's going on in Denver and tell me how that relates to what's happening into Chicago, what I need to do to differentiate myself. What are the trends? What are the risks and the opportunities? I mean, the more detailed you can put that prompt in, the better deep research response you're going to get. But for those listeners and viewers who haven't done deep research, when you do this, and it's just, before you enter your prompt, you hit the plus button and you select the deep research feature. And it typically will give you 20 pages of cited sources that back up the research that it provides to you. And it takes it can take about 15 minutes to run one of those. But it's, the results are typically very good. So, you can do it, for differentiating yourself from a marketing perspective. You can do it to analyze trends in housing, risks and threats in the economy that might have an impact on what's going to be happening in the housing market, all kinds of things. It's really an amazing tool.
Two things that stood out. You said content silos, and I instantly started thinking back to YouTube strategies when it comes to the different playlists, and they would consider those to be, you have to have multiple content silos. So to see this kind of play outside of YouTube, because it's a YouTube theory, and for licensed real estate professionals who are realtor members in 98% of the markets, when you talk about doing the deep research, which I definitely love deep research. I just did one. Actually, one is running right now in the background for us. But looking at the demographics, we have a tool called RPR, which is Realtor Property Resource. And inside of the Realtor Property Resource is a tool exclusively for realtor members in 98% of the markets because their MLSs agree to sharing the data. We also, inside of there, have a tool called Esri. And Esri is breaking down lifestyle, habits, average household income. I did one last week on a community called Kenilworth. And Kenilworth is considered the most affluent community in the state of Illinois. And one thing that stood out was the fact that a lot of people who live there work in financial services. But during the daytime, a very small percentage of the households actually have someone physically in the house, as they are a commuting suburb, often taking the train to downtown Chicago. And so what I'm loving is leveraging the data, especially exclusive data, right? That we can still do what it is that you told us to do. And often we do not use this data that is exclusively for us. And Esri is a tool that is used by 50% of the Fortune 500 companies. So I wanted realtor members to know about these different tools that are available. You've given us an extensive checklist of things to do. Ken, if someone wanted to work with you, how do they get in touch with you and what services do you provide to licensed real estate professionals? I know you do small businesses, but we are small businesses. So what can a realtor anticipate working with you?
Yeah. So one thing too that I haven't talked about that I wanted to really talk about very quickly is this idea of speed to lead. Right now, yeah, speed to lead. So the business that responds first has an 80% chance of winning that business, irregardless of their price. So for realtors, prices doesn't really come into play, but the speed of response is absolutely critical. And the reality is today, if somebody calls you and they get a voicemail, 80% of people will not leave a voicemail unless they have a prior relationship with you. They'll call the next realtor that they find on the list. And so what we're seeing now is there used to be this golden window of like 5 minutes to respond back. And if you responded back, even if you didn't take that call live, you were able to probably still be the first to respond and win that business. But now AI phone systems and AI chatbots are guaranteeing that you are the first to respond. So if somebody calls your business and they interact with an AI voice assistant, that call is answered. These things can answer 200 concurrent phone calls. You train them to answer questions about your business. You train them to know what they can't answer, to escalate it to a live person, and they're great at booking appointments. So speed of response is absolutely critical. And it's now the gold standard, really, for being able to make sure, look, you're already spending a lot of money trying to get a lead. So the last thing you want to do is you want to have that lead leak away because you weren't able to get back to them on the phone as quickly as possible. And if you're a realtor and you're showing a home, do you want to take a phone call in the middle of that showing? But if you don't take that phone call, you're going to miss that opportunity. So that's why an AI phone assistant is really a great solution. So we're doing a lot with AI phone assistants and AI chatbots. And the great thing is, those are all question answer driven systems. So when we build those, we now help you build the FAQs that should go on your website, that should go on your Google profile, that should go on Yelp and other key places. If questions and answers turn into great sources of short video content. Every question, is a short video that you put on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, Facebook Reels, TikTok. So I want to make sure I talked about that because I think that's a super, super, super important thing for people to do. So the way people can get a hold of me is, we're at Changescape on our social media properties. And my website is changescapeweb.com. So it's changescapeweb.com. And then in regard to the services we offer, we really we focus on doing a lot of marketing automation. So when somebody calls that phone number, we have an automated system that will send them emails based on the conversation they had. It'll set up booked appointments. It will answer questions. It'll take them inside. It's an interior pages of the website, so it can serve as kind of a page navigational tool. And we do what I call an omni-channel driven SEO program for realtors, where it's we produce a lot of content. We write content. We don't shoot video content, but we create tons of content. Faceless video is performing as well or even better than a live human right now. And so we create a lot of that content. And again, we use AI to kind of seed all of the content ideas. We vet everything with human experts. And then we use AI tools extensively for search engine optimization on websites. The great thing about AI tools as well is it's fantastic for competitor research. So if you're trying to figure out why is this person ranking ahead of me, use an AI tool to kind of analyze what they're doing, and it will give you recommendations back to say, here are the things that you need to, here are the paragraphs you need to add to your website, or you need to do this or that to be able to help overcome them in the rankings. So for those businesses that are embracing AI and aren't afraid of it, there's a tremendous opportunity. Look, there's a lot of bad and dangerous potential stuff out there with AI. So don't just phone it in. Don't put in a simple prompt, write a 500-word blog post about this suburb, and then post that on your website. That will do absolutely nothing for you. You need to make it your voice. You need to train it to answer the way you want to answer. And so, yeah, I could go on and on.
Well, Ken, one thing I love are the stats that you dropped. Speed to lead, just read a report from the National Association of Realtors on that. Very accurate. Looking at the numbers at automation, my son is a NAR 30 under 30. He added 1,700 new contacts last year using ManyChat through automation, closed out at 165,000 gross closed income at 28. So the automation, but I do know that we are missing those phone calls. So I need to personally talk with you about a AI phone system and just some tweaking that I know that I need done as a business owner in order to grow even more. Artificial intelligence empowered me to increase my productivity by 261% and my income by 283% in the first 6 months. And
Wow.
there are a lot of things you've talked about that I don't have implemented. So I can imagine if I did, what
Yeah.
that would do for my business. And so, Ken, I want to thank you for being a valuable guest today and providing so much insight, not just to small businesses, but to licensed real estate professionals and what they need to do in order to be able to grow their business as active lifelong learners. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.